You ever notice how government logic works? It's the only kind of logic where the less sense it makes, the more official it becomes. You try using that kind of logic in your personal life, you'd be institutionalized. But when the government does it, they call it policy. They spend millions studying problems they already caused, and then they act shocked when the results say, "You screwed it up again." That's right government logic. You break it, then you fund a committee to figure out who to blame, and then you reward the guy who broke it with a promotion. It's like if stupidity were a religion, the government would be the Vatican. They pray every day to the holy trinity of nonsense, waste, corruption, and re-election. Men, you see, they've got a genius trick. They call it public service. But nothing public ever gets served, and the only thing getting serviced is the taxpayer. They make stupidity legal, they make greed patriotic, and they make you think it's all your fault for not voting hard enough. The government says, "We're here to help," and that's when you should run for your life. Because their help is like a bear hug from a grizzly looks friendly, ends deadly. They build bridges to nowhere, fund wars they can't win, and throw parades for their failures. Meanwhile, you're working overtime trying to pay for it all, while they pat themselves on the back for economic growth. That's government logic where the math never adds up, the truth never shows up, and the bill always does. You ever notice how government logic isn't just an accident? It's a system. It's a whole architecture built out of confusion, paperwork, and excuses. It's not that they don't know what they're doing. It's that they know exactly what they're doing, keeping things just broken enough to stay necessary. Bureaucracy rewards inefficiency. It thrives on chaos. The more steps it takes to do one thing, the more jobs it creates for people who don't actually do anything, and that's what they call growth. They've managed to turn incompetence into an economy. Think about it. In real life, if you mess something up repeatedly, you get fired. In government, that's called experience. They'll say, "We need someone who knows the system," meaning someone who knows how to survive inside a mess without ever cleaning it up. That's the beauty of bureaucracy. It's like a spider web made of red tape, and the flies keep funding it. You try to navigate it, you get caught in forms, fees, approvals, and delays. They make it so confusing that by the time you figure out one rule, they've invented 3 new ones. And if you ask why, they'll say it's to ensure accountability. Accountability to whom? Certainly not to you. Government logic runs on a very special kind of fuel, nonsense with a label. They call things initiatives, programs, or strategic partnerships. But none of them ever fix the problem they were made for. They just manage it. It's not about solving problems, it's about maintaining them in a profitable way. Because if they actually solved things, half the departments would have to close. Can't have that, so they keep everything half. Broken forever. It's job security for idiots in suits. They'll say, "We're streamlining operations." But that just means they're creating a new office to oversee the people who already oversee the thing that doesn't work. Here's the genius of government logic. When something fails, they don't get rid of it. They expand it. If a law doesn't work, they make it bigger. If a system collapses, they fund it more. If a war doesn't achieve anything, they call it a mission extension. They actually believe you can pile enough nonsense on top of nonsense to build something meaningful. It's like stacking pancakes made of paperware. Eventually you think it's a tower of progress, but it's still just syrup, covered nonsense. They measure success by how long they can drag out a failure without anyone noticing. You ever see a government project finish on time? Of course not. It's not designed to finish. They say it's ongoing or under review. Everything's always under review because under review is government code for don't ask. And when they finally do deliver something, it's either outdated or broken the day it launches. Then they hold a press conference and tell you it's a step forward. Sure, a step forward into the same hole they dug 20 years ago. They use words like transparency and efficiency as if saying them makes them true. You can have all the transparency in the world, but if the logic is corrupt, all you're doing is clearly seeing the bullshit. It's an organized circus where every clown thinks he's a tightrope walker, and the audience, meaning you, are the ones paying for the tickets, the popcorn, and the trapeze. You can't even complain about it because they've built a special office just to handle complaints, and that office is out to lunch permanently. That's the brilliance of government logic. It never collapses, it just regenerates. It's like a fungus. You can scrape off a layer, but it grows back in the same spot, stronger and more resistant to reason. It's not broken, it's self-sustaining. The system feeds on its own stupidity like a snake eating its tail, only the tail is made of your tax money. And the best part, the people inside the system think they're geniuses. They really believe they're public servants, but they don't serve the public, they serve the paperwork, because as long as the paperwork exists, they exist. Government logic is a machine that runs perfectly as long as it never works properly, and that's why bureaucracy never dies. It's not supposed to. It's rewarded for staying dysfunctional. They call it progress, reform, modernization. You call it what it is, a fancy way to make stupidity legal and efficiency extinct. Governments have a special talent for taking stupidity, dressing it up in a suit, and calling it strategy. They don't make mistakes, they make plans. Every bad decision comes with a shiny PowerPoint and a slogan about progress. They call it the path forward, but it's always the same loop that leads right back to the mess they started with. When they waste billions on nonsense, they call it an investment in the future. When they screw something up, they call it a learning opportunity. It's like watching a magician who pulls your wallet out of your pocket, waves it around, and then thanks you for participating in the economy. Government deception isn't chaotic, it's organized. It's engineered confusion. They've mastered the art of wrapping stupidity in patriotic language so you'll salute while they rob you blind. They say it's for national security, public safety, or the greater good. And that's how they sell you every bad idea they can think of. They say, we're protecting your freedom. Right before they pass a law that takes it away, they say, we're improving the system, while secretly making it harder to question them. Every time they talk about reform, you can bet it's just a new name for the same old scam. They've built an entire language around deception. You don't even need to understand politics to know it, just listen to the words. Collateral damage means innocent people died. Enhanced interrogation means torture. Economic adjustment means you're about to get laid off. They can't tell you the truth because the truth doesn't fit into a campaign slogan. The truth would make them unelectable, so they lie politely, officially, and with a flag in the background, and the people eat it up because the presentation looks professional. A man in a suit, a podium, and some applause is all it takes. They could read the phone book and call it a national policy update, and half the country would clap just because it sounded serious. They keep the deception alive by mixing in just enough truth to make it believable. They tell you what you already suspect, that things are bad but never admit they're the reason. Then they offer the solution, which, surprise, gives them even more power. That's government logic in action. Use your own frustration as fuel for their control. They've managed to turn stupidity into a strategy because the alternative honesty would destroy them. Imagine a politician saying, "We don't actually know what we're doing, but we like the benefits." That would be the most truthful statement ever made, and it would end a career instantly. So instead, they polish lies until they shine. They talk about hope and progress like they're selling a miracle, and people want to believe. It's comforting to think there's a plan, even if it's a stupid one. That's how they get away with it, by disguising stupidity as order, waste as vision, and deception as democracy. And by the time you realize it's all a trick, the next election cycle has already started, and they're back on stage with new promises and the same old logic. The greatest joke in the history of civilization is that the people who pay for everything are the ones who understand logic the most, and yet they're ruled by those who don't use any. The public funds every mistake, every blunder, every idiotic idea that crawls out of a government meeting. You work your whole life, you pay your taxes, and what do you get? Potholes, paperwork, and politicians telling you how grateful you should be. They call it civic duty. You call it daylight robbery with a receipt. Every time the government screws up, the bill goes straight to you, and you can't return it. You can't say, "No thanks, I didn't order this stupidity." It's already been charged to your account. When they start a war that nobody asked for, you pay. When they bail out a corporation that gambled and lost, you pay. When they create a committee to investigate why the last committee failed, guess who's footing the bill? You. It's a perfect business model. They make the mistakes, and you fund the repair shop. You're like the insurance policy for their incompetence, except you don't get a say in the coverage. You just keep sending payments while they keep breaking things. And if you dare complain, they tell you that it's complicated. No, it's not complicated, it's theft with paperwork. They've made stupidity not only legal but profitable. Every dumb idea becomes a job for someone. Every failed project becomes a new opportunity. And every financial disaster is followed by a stimulus package, which is really just a refund of your own money with a smaller amount returned. You're paying interest on your own punishment, and they make you feel patriotic for doing it. They convince you that good citizens don't question where their money goes, only bad ones do. So people wave their flags while the government waves the invoices. What's really incredible is how they've normalized it. It's so routine that most people don't even get angry anymore. You see billions wasted and you shrug because it's just politics. They've trained everyone to accept failure as the price of democracy, as if corruption were a natural disaster. What can you do? They say. Well, apparently you can pay. That's the one thing you can do without fail. Taxes are the only government project that works perfectly every time. It never fails, it never delays, and it always collects. The rest of the system can be falling apart, but the tax office runs like a Swiss watch, and when the people finally get frustrated, the government blames them. They say, "You wanted these services, you voted for this," as if voting gives you a refund policy. It's not a partnership, it's a trap with a ballot box. They screw up, you pay, they blame you, and the cycle continues. It's the most consistent system in the world. Stupidity at the top, responsibility at the bottom. The people in charge gamble with your money, lose every time, and still call themselves leaders. Meanwhile, you're the one working overtime to keep their lights on. That's government logic, a pyramid scheme disguised as patriotism, where the public always pays for the joke, and the punchline is on you. So in the end, government logic isn't really logic at all. It's a performance, a centuries-old act designed to make stupidity look official and failure sound intelligent. They twist reason into red tape, dress corruption up as democracy, and convince you that their mistakes are noble sacrifices for the greater good. They've managed to turn ignorance into policy, confusion into power, and obedience into virtue. The machine keeps running, not because it works, but because you keep fueling it with your money, your trust, and your silence. And that's the final punchline. The people who see the nonsense are the ones paying for it, and the ones causing it are too busy giving speeches about responsibility. That's not logic. That's legalized insanity, and we keep calling it leadership.